look.
Okay, welcome to Laugharne. Okay. Now, our first guest this evening, I first encountered as a musician in 86, 87 perhaps, when he was an aspiring guitarist in a band called Wishing Stones, who I promoted a couple of times. He wasn't a bad musician, but he's a brilliant author. So please welcome to be interviewed by his friend Dean Bradfield.
Gabs, can you just adjust your exposure a bit more?
Brother, big welcome for John Niven.
That's a nice shot there, I thought that. Right, come to camera 2. On 2. Gabs, can you adjust your white balance? Make it a bit cooler. It's quite young.
Okay, croeso cael cyfeiriad gan John Niven. Gwedais i anabeddi llynedd. Fi roed ffindio cwestiynau newydd yma. Full disclosure, dwi'n adnabod John.
Lovely.
Come to camera 3. So, gyda ni yn dechrau, diolch am dod. So, obviously, we've been John Niven tonight. We've interviewed him very last year, so that's 20 questions. We managed to listen to the 90s. You feeling happy, John? No, okay.
So the experience of me watching Jerry talking in Wales, let's bring them out every night in Germany for like 2 weeks. Yeah. Even queuing to thing once on a long book tour, you eventually become like an employee in a form of self. The thing you've written was so long ago, where you can't, and when people talk, you've been through somebody who's read it so much more recently than you. What page? 284 when you're talking.
Gabs, can you get a crowd shot for me?
I should remind you of this book. Yes, so the soft chord starts. The non-linear narrative of the book.
Actually, sorry, can you go back to
something this year,
James?
When I watched it from my mentor, I was like, what?
There we go.
Yeah,
can you go to a 2 shot?
But it's fun for me.
Come to camera 3. On 3.
Which is short for the North-ish General Hospital. You use that as a kind of
Can you just tilt down a little bit? There's too much headroom.
Where your relatives dying, friends dying, people being born, people being treated there, what's space there, mother.
There you go, spot on. Spot on.
So Gary's suicide attempt takes place there.
Can you focus up as well, please?
You use that hospital, the Natch, as a place that plays all these different time zones, and that's what saved me.
Still soft, then, mate.
What's going on? Is that, were you aware of that? This
Let's come to on 2.
Took me for those of you who might not know the my brother.
Yeah, Gabs, if you can offer a crowd shot, let's stick with 2 for him.
I sort of went to the novels. brother who became a drug dealer who wound up going to prison and killed himself.
Just down
So the book comes out
perfect.
relationship.
I'll wait for that to react.
I think two kids flashing such different outcomes with the same raw material. The question is, kind of, how does the black sheep go that way? The black sheep. Because what you
Yeah,
learn,
so I'm just gonna-
what we'll say, you kind of learn, what you thought. And you can't figure out to go, well, what came through, you can't fully answer some of these questions in a combination of things, that thought of the family, the family. Like the things in childhood that at the time, when you think was such a big deal, there's all sorts of things. You have kids, that's let's go.
Just zoom into him.
But you know, as the kids have their
Okay,
nature,
like, sometimes it will.
and usually
Then we got whatever comes down to
environment.
answer.
I think they can bring two things up to start and see the
Can I get another crash on good? John, lovely, like that. Hey, John.
But more many years after you get this writing, like a structure in a way that reading. Because the Kelly equation is not about it, it's a lot of music. Finals, also, a lot of them. The reason is that this is actually thinking less about who the heart is from God until tonight, and I will say this as part of it. There's no real space to have a structure. And then finally, the main question is finding that if we reach the other and it was to first the last stage. Then choose that so we reach the state that's coma, continuing this and we use that as big scales and we go back into the past. And once you use that kind of structure, it's finding
I'm just going to remember that guy. We'll go back to James.
Just said the, this traditional thing. What is and like
Just hold down a little bit, please, Cams.
so you're
But you can count three. Three.
I think the way I read it, we go 50-50 with progress. So we've been to. Have you been to a college for that? Because it's a very traditional, dare I say it, yeah, that's very thinking.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, just take that a little bit. Back to camera two. One, two.
I need to get to that basic combination that makes I think 50-50 observations got quite a head to it. The other thing like a head to it is a lot of money we should see the time that for us. If I learn one thing to it, since the both of us are trying to be a lot more delicate and more careful. Feels like that for in 1924, and he was always bad and fairly traditional, like a lot, especially once we got to the late teens or 20s, and my brother kind of discovered reading quite quickly and started living that sort of well up and saying that you'll do what you do reaching up. What lifestyle way to be out for politics and money off his head. My dad, you know, as you see him had before in 1924, he was not really
She's not going to take this.
that's just trying to with this lifestyle. And we were fighting a lot. And you know, that was a shit again. As I am myself, typically fairly short views are especially for the first stroke, so in the last stroke. But I'm going to try to watch that back in the short game. But then it sort of get fun with that but I was kind of catching when I could show you that I would, you know, straight off the point, right? But the guy is like, you really, you know, he's a way more fearless than me,
Coming to three. On three. If you go to the author.
All your quotes deny the national line.
Turns it down a bit. There we go, just focus on that.
Not everything.
A little bit more, I
Yeah.
would say.
Had
There we go, spot on.
eventually lost its, emotional neural pathways. Yeah, you finally run out of this. There's a type of you brought man for people who are passing straight on.
Onto.
Yeah, that's basically it. Trying to make it so short film after the eventually but I mean, one of the privileged things of being a writer is that you get to sit at the desk and sit with this kind of issues. So like writing takes spent an awful lot of time in my brother's mental company. I wrote on the habits those years back, which my dad was kind of presence. And when I was writing that book, I spent a lot of time mentally with my dad. A lot of people have jobs, have busy lives with kids. There's something like this that falls from you don't get time to process it properly. And I think one of the privileges of the job is you get to spend months, in fact years in this case, at the desk. I think that's why the book took a while to change, because when any experience happens to the novelist, it tends to take 2 or 3 years to distill down to you before you can write about it with passion. I think when you have these seismic premature violent it takes a lot longer to process best part of a decade before people are, I mean, that's not really, I feel that's important to get on, must be really difficult and emotional to write about it. But that's kind of this perception of what happens at the desk. You have to come to the desk quite dry-eyed and clear-eyed and all that. It's actually harder doing the job you have to do talk about all again. That's hard to break because
On three.
There's so many passages in the
Oh,
book
you shot that.
I would see a way Gary
It's up there.
see his eventual demise. It's quite forensic in that sense, finding things out. So, it is. So, you've also said that writing novels is things like it's just amazing. But, yeah, I do, but I kind of like it. Anyway, so kind of like if writing novels, you said this was
Let's have a cup of tea.
did it, yeah, of course, you push the desk in your office, you get that word every day, say that.
It's in the Welsh for
And eventually, it gets marked, it gets
onto.
I think that's hard more than technical things. With a novel, when I do the character, I'm really tall. That's what it depends on. But with this, not only the emotional aspect of research, but it's the technical kind of sustaining your voice like non-fiction, like 400 pages after the first chapter. You use the posture to go there so much. Someone who comes to the same platform in the heart for 4 hours and maybe he's not even what that's
I didn't really.
and so it's and then it goes back to the audio book and I've never listened to the audio book of anyone with any novel. I just written it more so a man of a certain age in the room, we know what I'm talking about here. I was going to take the first that one, but anyway, the publisher said, really the whole thing. And he said, we can't get an actor to do it. So it's 4.5, 5 days, so, you know, listening to yourself about the market. That was the question. Unfortunately, we wanted to get, and then there was a couple of boys who had to stop because the engineer kept 7 or 8 to the call.
So I've got something. It just sounds slightly
But it's complicated, yeah, because that's a truly deep, because it's like the UK, but as an artist, but what makes us fucking good it's really great to always the honor, and it's just
It's a 3.
on
On 3.
I'm just trying to fucking hell,
On 3.
I'll never let
Two. On 2.
in my head, that's all that goes to Grand and then you be your fucking big because
Too much, it's much better. You've done 2 major bits, so it's really hard to write novels based on music. You've done
And 3. On 3.
You can do that. If I see what was
Yeah. And also, you've written the amazing sports novels. It's really hard to write sports novels. There's one called Research, which is about cycling novels. So it's 2 massive things that other people can't do. So it's really funny, you get the 2 novels with music at the heart of it. But one of the best examples of music inspired is me on this book. It's page 343, and you're imagining the scene of actually the way when you were young at the Magazine Centre, and now the building's been knocked down. There's all the death of the wind, you know, the grass. That's amazing, right? I've done that since actually. I tried an experiment. I tried an emotion garden. Right. And it was a really tough experience. It was a slow but that's an amazing way of writing music. Also, I think you may have those gigs or something. Could be a good time for example. Let's be there. But leaving from that, do you think that music is inspired to do you think music is shaped through the novelist more than literature?
I think what music is the kind of game we do like after the music, then you discover while you discover movies and books and one of the friends at the age of 15, 16 got into that world. And I think you can find the pride that way, but you also find what you learn in guitar and playing the guitar back then. But you find all these friends that these are all reasons to not be too much on this, but these are all reasons to stay alive. These are all things that feed your soul, that annoy you, music and art, literature, etc. My brother never really got there with that stuff. I think my brother died and went to his house, and there were 3 novels that I published and maybe I sort of take through sort of game. But there was a fraction of the books and music. I think my brother took to the 42, which is not an easy age seriously for me. I think because he wasn't a partner, he wanted to be his son, and so on that way. I think on what I mean, you've got a job, you've got a family, maybe some other guys, but things that age and work,
Can you
with the job and work. Can you read that?
Just indicate whether they cut off all the lobes that might come up here, maybe.
A lot of times the things that sort of cultural data that you expression the work of the people on the sport is quite a belief to be the land in the world. So I guess I would feel like grateful for such music enabling you to discover as Leslie said, fiction is a better job. Fiction is a better job. And listen, the main voices in this book are all people. As it becomes hard because you have constantly trying to avoid the novels that you know, so you've got to choose a voice. It doesn't ask you. But it's a powerless notion. It isn't not being meant to. But I think the question is my family, my mom has been affectionately representing the comfortable bit, and my brother inspired a couple of characters who I think that my sister was obviously come on, but I don't look out the books and reading the books and all that. It's too sane. It's actually really nice and sweet and intelligent. Same man, still fucking used to me. And I'm limited and experimenting. And his mom was you know, you know, but finally Linda is quite a big presence in this book. She's really it has to be marketed. Yeah. So you could really stumble around and stuff up or you like also raise the top basically to the nation. That work. But like that, it was funny just after the war was and she always got the borders of her family. And she went to the bookshop there and showed it that she always She just finished reading old brother about walking. I was like, the job and she was I imagine most of your friends have read this book. How do they rate the fiction yourself? Most would like that. I think it's pretty accurate. With one exception, my friend Stuart, the old dog, he was said, if I give myself the real estate, not a bit. Fuck you. So yeah, well, you know, on the page, on the page writing, you see like the base, we're not enjoying that one. You said that very I just did that. You said one was really at the base, you
that's going to come at you, you know, because if you're trying to do it properly, you're writing past your immediate family, you're writing for your or even your grandkids. You have to have that sort of perspective and this passion.
Is it easy to play that trick on yourself? Suspend that disbelief?
I just, you have to. I find it when you get into the sort of diving bell of the study and you get submerged in the book, I find it remarkably easy just to cut off all worries or responsibility, or you can have a character say whatever they need to say. I don't really worry about the repercussions of it.
I'm going to go off track about our brother a minute. And I remember you saying when you first read Money by Martin Amis, you thought, oh my God, I've got to write every word that was written by this man.
Mm.
Have you had that feeling about any other authors since?
Here and there, there's people who's what I'll tell you right now. There is actually a girl called Wendy Erskine, an Irish short story writer, who's written 2 collections of short stories, Sweet Home and Dance Move. And she's finishing her first novel, I think, at the minute, Wendy, and she's just one of the absolute blown away with her talent. So they say she's only written 2 books so far, and a third in the way. So it hasn't been a huge stretch to read everything she's written. But I think it's like a lot of those real passions you get in literature. You get them in like music between a certain age.
Yeah.
That never quite leave you. You kind of get bitten quite hard by things at that age. And also, I guess maybe as you get older and you write a lot of books yourself, you kind of what goes on behind the curtain a bit more. So it's harder.
You do a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Shall I read a little bit from the book? I'm trying to gauge this audience in terms of how hardcore we can go here. There's a fair range of. We're pre-watershed, aren't we? So we should keep it kind of clean. It's funny because on the reading tour, there's a sort of range of passages I would read from this, and you would gauge the audience to see where you would go. And because a couple of bits that worked great in Glasgow at sort of 10 o'clock at night, and I did the same bit in Brighton or somewhere at sort of 6 p.m. and it was just literally, when Krusty the Clown goes alternative, and the audience are just like, and we'll get too well. Oh, actually, I might need to put glasses. I only got glasses this year because I keep forgetting I need them. Okay. So I'm going to read you a little bit. Some of the sections of the book that I like to read. It's kind of because my brother that he ended up like this sort of hardman gangster who went to prison and sold drugs, and it's important to say that I think when it comes to the realm of suicide, it's important to notice that people aren't defined by how their lives end. There's a lot of life before that and a lot of variety to life. And my brother wasn't like this instinctive, latent, hard man, like this sort of Begbie type. Gary was a sweet little boy who kind of, wandered off down a dark path somewhere in his late teens. So there's some stories from childhood I thought it was important to get an idea of that family dynamic and kind of the fact that, Gary and I's relationship together before he sort of went off the rails a bit. So the section where I read you were all the way back to 1976. In 1976, Jaws mania hit Scotland full force. The film had been released in the USA the previous summer and opened in London 6 months later, Christmas 1975. Back in those days, however, it seemed to take movies an eternity to roll out across the country. Anyone remember this? It'd be like months before the film came to your town. We're into early 1976 when Jaws finally comes to Glasgow with its, and this does seem incredible to me today, A rating, equivalent to PG, meaning children over the age of 5 are free to see it when accompanied by an adult. What the fuck were they thinking? Uncle Drew and Aunt Belle take me and my eldest cousin David to see it at the Odeon on Renfield Street. Gary and Kevin, both only 8 at the time, are deemed just a bit too young for all of this. I can see us in the stalls now, David and I, leaning forward in the darkness, peering through the skeins of cigarette smoke drifting through the projector beams. My 15-year-old daughter went, "You could smoke it? People smoked in the cinema?" I'm like, "Yeah, baby." It's crazy. Hooper treads water in the muck as he shines his torch into that jagged wooden hole. And then the head, the eye dangling by the electrical wiring of the optic nerve. The screams as David and I simultaneously rocket 3 feet into the air. Months pass before Jaws finally comes to Irvine, to our local cinema, the George. Mum and Dad are desperate to see it, and based on some unknowable arbitrary factors, a parental decision has been made deeming Gary, now Jaws, suitable. I, a seasoned pro, will be seeing the film for the second time, the first time I've ever done this. Our grandparents babysit our wee sister, and we head downtown on a Friday night, only to find that the line is enormous around the block. We take our place and patiently queue, only to be turned away agonizingly close to the front as the cinema is full. Again, my daughter went, "Why didn't you just book online, Dad?" What? Leela, 1976, Leela. The Nivens leave, vowing to return the following night. Saturday rolls round and the four of us head back downtown in the Navy Cortina. This time, we gain admission. We load up in treats and take our seats very near the front as the lights go down. The black screen, ominous bubbling, a Zanuck Brown production. I'm already aware of butterflies tickling my ribcage, of swallows darting in my stomach. The first two notes of John Williams's dread score rumble up. The camera begins nosing through the weeds and rocks, searching, and suddenly an overwhelming sense of dread floods me. The fact that I've already seen the film is suddenly neither here nor there. I feel hot, panicky, sick. I'm sitting between Gary and Dad. I look to my right to Gary. Of course, he's already felt the fear coming off of me like radiation, and it is as transmissible as radiation. As we lock eyes, Gary's bottom lip begins to tremble. His hand clutches for mine, which is already gripping the armrest as if in a 747 hurtling down the runway. On screen, the doomed Chrissy Watkins is running along the beach now, disrobing, soon to dive into the silver water, where, lurking beneath the surface, Jesus Christ, its unfathomable size, like a locomotive with butcher knives for teeth. I suddenly know one thing with total certainty. Under no circumstances will I survive another viewing of this awful film. I look at Gary on the verge of tears now too, and I know that neither will he. And get us out of this, wee man. I turn to Dad, my face scrunched up, my breath shallow, tears already springing up as I simply and firmly say 4 words I should have long grown out of. I don't like it. What? Dad says through a mouthful of Fry's chocolate cream. Mum leans around him and takes one look at the pleading, beseeching faces of her terrified sons. You have to take them home, John. A beat, and then the tight, controlled venom of Dad's right. He thrusts down his chocolate and leads us to the exit, the sound of the monster beginning to devour poor Chrissy, hurrying our feet. And then the relief, the bright lights and cool air of the foyer. Dad floors it, burning up Bank Street and Livingston Terrace on the 5-minute drive home. He drops us with our mystified grandparents and then peels off, roaring back downtown. Oh, Dad. Sitting at my desk today with Google Maps and the movie playing in my laptop, I can calculate that with handover time, parking, and assuming negligible traffic, you missed roughly 15 minutes from the first shark attack to the town council meeting. But you would just, I think, have walked back into the George in time for Quint's arrival. I see you now, coming down the dark aisle, muttering, cursing, searching for your role, apologising as you thread your way through the feet, coats and handbags, and sinking gratefully into your seat just as Robert Shaw's nails hit that blackboard. You all know me, all know how I earn a living. Apologies to the state of Robert Shaw for the impression. A few years ago, I took your eldest granddaughter to the cinema to see Jaws. She was exactly 10 too, the same age as I was. You'll be delighted to learn that she coped far better than your son did. Indeed, she was right there to the end, on her feet and cheering when the chief said, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and blew the monster all back to hell. Anyway, wherever you are now in your circuit of eternity, your eldest child apologises for that night, and he thanks you. You showed more forbearance with your children than I probably would with mine, with the grandchildren you never met. Incredibly, even worse awaited us as we strolled into the playground on Monday morning to be hailed by the unforgettable bellowed greeting, "Niven shat his pants and get taken out of Jaws, man!" And then the gale, the football terrace roar of the laughter, seemingly the laughter of the entire school. For it transpired that many of our fellow Castle Park primary pupils had been dotted around the cinema on Saturday night and had witnessed our whole sorry exit. My memory keeps wanting to add that even the teachers were involved in the mocking. The headmaster, Mr. Reedsay, pointing and slapping his thighs with glee as I stood in the asphalt, my face as red as Quint's sun-scorched cheeks, as red as the blood that fountained out of his mouth. At any rate, I wouldn't live this down until secondary school, and by that point, there would be other stuff to deal with. Thank you. Thank you.
The voice, man. It's just gold, that voice. It's amazing. It is, I'm telling you. I'm not even joking.
Robert Shaw.
It's proper. Scottish Burton.
You all know me.
Not me. So,
My daughter's still very fond of announcing her entrance into the kitchen with those words. Like, you
all know me.
all know me.
So I'm going to give you the kind of the punk rock test question, you know, because you've said a lot of the protagonists. I know you said a lot of the protagonists in your book, kind of are not in the place in life where they want to be. Yeah, you've said that.
Yeah.
You 10 novels in 15 years. You know, kind of screenwriter, kind of film scripts, blah 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 blah. Times bestseller list. You're obviously in the place you want to be in life. You are, just about. Give or take, yeah. Because you talk about, you know, it's not a day you don't kiss the floor in your study.
That's all true.
And just say the kind of, God, you know, I thought about joining the RAF when I was at my, you know, my bottom in the well of loneliness. You know, I felt about joining the RAF or becoming a teacher, but it all came good. So if you are kind of in the place that you want to be in, kind of like, you know, as opposed to the characters in your book, is it easier to write now? Is it harder to write now? Is that kind of a little bit of angst chipped away? Now you're in the place you want to be in?
That's an annoyingly good question. I think what happens when you have some success and you get older is you reach a point where technical ability is increased, but maybe ideas are a little thinner on the ground. I've kind of, for novelists or script writers, I think your reserve of ideas is the real gold deposit, you know.
Yeah.
And I've always been fortunate in that I've never been working on a book without knowing what the next book's going to be. And I'm almost finished the second draft of my next novel, which will probably published 2025. And I'm a wee bit feared because I don't quite know what's coming.
First time,
yeah. I've got a few bits and bobs, but nothing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to worry you.
What have I done?
Sorry.
Why'd you have to bring that up, man? So yeah, it's the ideas and the dearth of ideas are the big fear as you get older. You can, you know, the danger of having technique, you can probably know as a musician, is when you're young, all you've got are the ideas because you don't have that much technique. As you get older, you can kind of polish a turd. Are you more capable? I'm not saying you do that, James.
I always had technique, John.
Came out the womb like that, huh?
Okay, kind of like we're going to do just a little party trick at the end here, then we'll kind of get some questions from the audience, yeah? So myself and John, when we, you know, I kind of slightly follow yours, not quite silver hopping, but we watch the same daytime TV, kind of like friends, neighbors, inside the actor studio.
Yeah.
Kind of, which was a kind of very niche TV, but amazing.
We were both obsessed with it.
Yes, they'd interview people like Rob De Niro and kind of like Jodie Foster, and they would just ask, you know, kind of actors questions about their lives and how they became an actor. And James Lipton was the presenter. He sadly passed away, and he always used to ask this questionnaire at the end. He used to throw up some surprises. So let's go for it. John Niven, what is your favorite word?
Cake.
Cake. What is your least favorite word?
No.
Okay. I think Sean Penn said that.
Did
Yeah, I think so. His favorite word was dentist.
Favorite?
Yeah. No, that was his least favorite word,
Oh,
sorry.
sure. Okay,
Dentist,
okay.
yeah. His favorite word was pickle. These were important years I spent on the sofa.
we should have got out more.
What turned you on creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Recklessness.
You turn yourself on, yeah? What turns you off?
Tories. I always think when I say something like that, my publisher, well, you know, there might be a lot of people who might buy your book, and I know, as Larry David said to me, he's like, you know, worried you might alienate the MAGA audience. Like, alienate yourselves. Fuck off.
Here we go. What is your favorite curse word?
General worldwide fuck, specifically Scottish boz.
Say it properly.
B-A-W-S, boz.
Balls. What sound and noise do you love?
The fridge door sort of schlucking, the rubber vacuum sealy thing.
Can a man come home from a hard day's work and expect to find some smoked turkey in the fridge anymore? Tony Soprano style. Okay,
Motherfucker!
Okay. What sound and noise do you hate?
It's styrofoam.
Yeah,
Any
that's bad.
form. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Rockstar. Your fucking profession.
I'm a musician.
Yeah, sure.
Hack. What profession would you not like to do?
Anything with blood. Talks of that shit, you know. Fuck that.
So this does lead up to my final observation. In your books, I've said this before, I'm not trying to rag you or just bug you in any kind of way, but like you do have these quite cosmic endings to your books where, you know, there's the faint whiff of another world, another plane, the spiritual hope that it's not the fucking end or some energy ends up somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to accuse you of being religious or hippie, okay?
Never trust a hippie, James.
But kind of like you've got, I suppose, suspend disbelief for this, though I don't think it's too hard for you. If heaven exists, what would you like to your God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Come on in, John. The hookers and the 8-ball are waiting.
Sean Penn said that.
And only you would get that, my friend.
Okay. It's been a privilege to interview Scotland's best author, John Niven, and the kind
Thank you,
of
folks.
the floor is yours.
No, you get off. You should stay.
No, fuck that.
James Bradfield. He's on a tight schedule.